This game started. Is it started?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we are here in the pre-game lobby for Game 2/Game 3, and we are waiting on Hank, who is having mic issues. So.
Interesting name, Hank. You don't see that too often.
Yeah. Hank.
So what picks, what bands do you think we're going to see in this next game?
I think we're going to see 5 picks, and we are going to see 5 bands from each side.
No way, really?
I'm not sure what we're going to see.
Oh my God.
So right here we have
What an
DePaul.
amazing prediction.
Yeah. So DePaul's going to be on the red side here.
Not DePaul.
And
It is
yes, DePaul's going to be on the red side here. And
not DePaul.
That's DePaul, that's red side.
It's Zion versus the super ordinary. It is Zion versus the super ordinary gentlemen. We are going to Game 3, and we are super pumped to see the picks and band phases. Nathan, what is your take on these picks and bands?
I do not have a take on picks and bands yet, as they have not started. But as I was about to say, since the super ordinary gentlemen, the team that is from DePaul, I'm going to be referring to them as DePaul for the rest of this match. Since they're on the red side and there's a really large discrepancy in the top lane, I'm expecting to see a counter pick reserved for Brown Mandarius in the top lane, as he's a challenger versus a Diamond 3, and he did pop off in the last game. I think they're going to continue and try and do that during this game. However, I believe that blue side, Chicago, UI Chicago, could potentially pinch out his pool, but when there's that large of a discrepancy between the champions in the role, it's very hard to pinch them out. So they might have to go for a different strategy, potentially playing around bot lane again, or looking for Hi, I'm Jackie, or anyone else to carry this game, really, as the amount of resources that they're going to have to devote towards the top lane to even out that discrepancy is going to be very large. It looks like...
I think we're going to see a Rek'Sai ban. He was very powerful in the last game.
Flip the chat. All right. Yep. So we are getting into pick bands. We can leave our theories aside and see what they.
But the Rek'Sai ban is going to be very powerful ban, because he was able to jump in, jump out of fights just as quick, and with really no defense against him.
Yeah. Rek'Sai is definitely an S-tier jungler right now. In the LEC, LPL, LCK, the big 2 junglers that you're seeing anywhere is Jarvan and Rek'Sai. However, you don't see them banned very often just because of how many powerful picks there are in the meta right now. We've seen lately that Riot has sort of been tending towards leaving many champions powered and letting people find counters to those champions instead of nerfing everything to the ground until the only thing that people play is the one champion that's good.
Yeah, we do see the Kennen ban again, and as well as the Darius ban again. So 2 very powerful bans. We did see Kennen in the LCS finals, so I was very excited to see. We did see him get banned a lot in the LCS finals as well. But why do you think they're banning Kennen out so much?
So I think, at least in this series, a big reason they could be banning out the Kennen is that Kennen is a very neutralizing pick. It's hard to win lane against a Kennen, and when you have this discrepancy, like I said, in the top lane, you really want to capitalize on that. So they're going to want to put as many resources in they can and allow Brown Mandarius to carry. And on the opposite side of that coin, as you can see, we have UI Chicago banning out not all, but many of Brown Mandarius's top lane picks, just trying to get him out of his comfort zone, trying to get him on a champion that he can't carry with. And right here, first pick, taking away the Vladimir champion that he carried with last game. So
I think that the Vlad is a very important pick in this this phase, just because if they don't take him, they're just going to either take him themselves or ban him. And he was very instrumental in taking down the OSG last game.
Right.
Again, we see the Thresh pick. His hooks were really on point last game. However, there was a lot of room and improvement. He did have very good lantern throws, but he was just advancing too far last game. What do you think this could mean for an ADC this game?
As far as the ADC pools goes right now, there's a lot of options. There's Kai'Sa, Varus, Ashe, Vayne. All of them are very prevalent in the meta right now. But I really don't think that's where the pick ban is going to be focused this match. It's definitely put a lot of emphasis that's going to be put around this top lane. And as you can see, there's this first pick Vladimir here. It's a bit of a flex, but right now we're primarily seeing it in the top lane. And A lot of people on Reddit, a lot of people online complain about Vladimir because he's a very safe pick, especially with phase rush, the ability to run away. But there are some counters, and one of those is an S tier pick in itself, being Akali. We've seen in the LCS both of the games, or rather, 2 of the games that TSM had very large leads against TL. They picked Akali versus Vladimir. In my personal experience, and from what I've seen, that's a very, very Akali favored matchup, and that's a champion that you definitely want to put Brown Mandarius on. We'll see if that comes out. We'll see if blue side decides to ban it here, because they are saving. It looks like they are reserving counter pick. They are reserving the top lane pick or one of their solo lane picks until last. So we'll see what comes out here.
We do see a Rek'Sai into what I'm assuming is an Nunu and Willump. And that matchup isn't going to be very well for the Zychron. I don't think that Nunu will be able to keep up with Rek'Sai.
Yeah, so that matchup, I don't think Rek'Sai is going to have very much pressure against the Nunu in a 1v1 solo sort of scenario.
No, but the jungle clear would be really on Rek'Sai's side.
Right. Well, they both have very effective clears. However, Rek'Sai is able to get on the map and make some things happen a lot quicker. They both have relatively powerful level 2 ganks. Nunu with his snowball, Rek'Sai with his unburrow. I think Nunu is online a bit earlier with his gank potential. However, those ganks are just going to be a lot weaker than what you see coming out of a Rek'Sai with Conqueror and the damage that is going to be coming out of her. So we will see what happens, see how that plays out. I think potentially this Nunu, with a comp how it's shaping out right now, we have a Nunu, we have an Alistar. We could see a very hyper carry come out of the UIC bot lane. We have yet to see, but Nunu is definitely a champion that you don't pick just for early game power. You pick him to enable someone else on your team. Let's see if that's Bulgarian AD. You have the Poppy being hovered here. Poppy is a powerful pick, but I don't know if it's what you want to put into Vlad if you want to carry. It's going to be a very neutral lane. So it looks like we got a Ryze right here. Ryze is a very powerful pick, very strong in the side lane.
But his stun is what's going to make or break him. If he can land that 100% of the time, or at least close to it 95% of the time, he will be able to put off a lot of damage and potentially have that laning advantage over somebody who doesn't have a stun.
Yeah, so Ryze's point and clicks route is definitely going to help make a lot of plays. And like I said, in the sideline late game, he's just going to be doing a lot. It's interesting as to how that actual side lane matchup plays in the later stages of the game, Ryze versus Vladimir. I believe that it gets to a certain point where although Ryze has a lot of DPS and he has his shields, Vladimir will just be able to run into him, E, R, Q, and just completely delete Ryze from the video game before he gets any further. And here we go. Here's the Akali that surprisingly wasn't banned. Oh, perhaps not. It was a hover. It's just a hover so far. I would like to see it personally because I like Akali and I think it fares very well into Vladimir, but we'll see what happens. They're hovering Zoe. And again, this Ryze is a flex pick, so it can really go anywhere.
So they did go with the Zoe.
They went with the Zoe. So
I'm interested to see how the Kai'Sa Deluxe can go up against the Vayne and the Thresh because, actually they're going Lux mid.
Yep, it's going to be Lux middle versus Zoe.
I do believe that the OSG has potentially more stun power than the Zychron does, and that could make or break this game, especially with the Thresh hook. You throw in the Zoe stun, Vayne just takes him out, you stun him again with the Ryze, Rek'Sai comes in for the cleanup, and that could be game right there.
Yeah, so looking at this comp from DePaul University, we have a Ryze who is extremely powerful in the side lane, but is also powerful in team fights. Granted, I think that with the composition that we have from UIC with the 2 tanks in the front line, it's going to be a bit difficult for him to actually do the damage that he'd like to do. So we'll see how that plays out. I think, though, that with them having a Ryze, a Rek'Sai, a Zoe, they're going to be looking to sort of split up the map and then look for stragglers that try and make picks on whether it be Ryze or Zoe. So they're going to be trying to really control vision, control this early game, and look for picks around the map with the Sleepy Trouble bubble, with Rek'Sai, ultimate, and just that power that he has early game, as well as that execute. And then Ryze being able to make plays around the map with his Realm Warp. We'll see how that plays out. But they still do have a bit of a late game insurance policy. They're always going to be relevant in team fights with that Vayne. In the super late game, Vladimir can potentially blow Vayne up before she does too much damage, but Vayne is a very slippery champion because of her stealth. It's going to help her avoid getting hit by those Qs, especially those empowered Qs from Vladimir. We'll just have to see what happens, but I believe that if DePaul gets a lead in this early game, they're going to run away with it, not just because of their performance in the last game, but just because of how their composition works. If they get ahead, Zoe's just going to be taking people out left and right with her trouble bubble. They're going to have superior vision control, which is going to make it that much harder for them to do so. Ryze is obviously going to be a powerhouse in the side lane if they get ahead early. And if they can get ahead early, stop Vladimir from hitting his late game spikes as well as Kaisa, they can definitely do a lot and take control of this game.
So, who do you think's got the most potential to get first blood?
First blood. So looking at top jungle, we have a Ryze and a Rek'Sai. So we have point and click root from Ryze that can be a potential of 2 seconds, as well as a lot of damage coming out from the Rek'Sai and even Ryze if he can land some of his empowered Qs. So I do believe that Ryze Rek'Sai does have a lot of potential for first blood. The bot lane as well, they do have a Thresh. They have a Thresh, however, there's going to be Alistar, who's relatively tanky because of Aftershock and can sort of knock people away with his W. So I'm fairly positive there's going to be a lot of focus towards this top side of the map. We'll just have to see what happens. And again, this is red Rek'Sai, which means he can make plays with the red buff, getting that slow, getting that damage down. We'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, I would not be surprised if we see something like red Krugs Raptors or even red into an invade from the Rek'Sai, just because of the power that that top side's going to have early game before Vlad gets online.
You do make an interesting point. Do you think we're going to see much of a early game fight, or is it going to be more mid game?
I think that you are definitely going to see a bit of the early game just because there's a Rek'Sai and she can always force plays around the map. She can do a lot with the way her kit works, with the damage that she has, especially with Conqueror. So there will definitely be a bit of early game action. Potentially if Zoe can land a couple trouble bubbles, maybe burn a cleanse and then get a bit more damage on the Lux or get a second bubble after the cleanse, a lot could happen there. We'll just have to see. And I think that we might just have this Nunu sort of trying to shadow the Rek'Sai, just trying to neutralize everything that he does, or rather everything that she does around the map.
So I do want to get a little bit away from gameplay just for a little bit. I point out the amazing choices of skins. We got a Zombie Ryze, we got a Pool Party Zoe, an Arclight Vayne, a Blood Moon Thresh.
Yeah, the skin advantage is already by and far going over to DePaul.
Yeah.
Personally, I believe that there is not a single skin in the game that's cuter than Pool Party Zoe.
I personally, my favorite out of this choice would be the Zombie Ryze, just because
that is
I'm
also
a zombie flick kind of person.
Yeah. Sad story actually. Long ago, before I main top and mid, I got a Zombie Ryze shard and I disenchanted it.
No!
Now I can't purchase the skin. It's tragic. It is tragic.
Oh my God! Why would you do something like that?
I don't know.
Okay, here we go. We're going into gameplay.
All right. Let's see. Put up the scoreboard. We are getting into this game. Let's see if there's any silliness that goes on in this early game. All right.
We do have a pause
right from
off
the
the bat.
get-go. We have some silliness. We have some mic issues again. I do recall having some issues when I played just earlier today. I think that it just has a lot to do with, making sure that you have your settings correct. Okay, yeah. They got that taken care of already, so should see this game unpausing pretty soon. Let's see here. Vayne going for the D shield start. So
do you think we're going to see an invade here? I think that, with the Kaisa, the Lux, and the Alistar, they do have a very good comp to invade. But last game we did see a very good setup to prevent the invade, which you do see always in the Diamond League. But it is
Right.
possible that a slip up could happen.
Right. So red side, because there's a thresh, right? Whenever you have a hook champion, pike, thresh, blitz, anything like that, you're always going to be thinking that you can invade. You're always going to be looking for something like that. However, because blue side has a Kaisa, because
we are up with another pause due to sound issues.
Let's talk about this again. Because blue side has a Kaisa who has one of the strongest level 1s in the game as an ADC, because of how her passive works, as well as a Lux who has a lot of potential damage coming through that is in an AoE. She could start Q, and obviously that's very powerful in level 1 because of the hard CC, but even her E, which she's going to want to start obviously for lane to get prio, to get pushing, even her E, being able to hit multiple people with that and then get multiple passive procs off is going to be powerful during the level 1. So I think we're just going to see a pretty defensive start from both sides. Blue side, yes, they're stronger in the level 1 with Kaisa, but they don't have any way to force things. And red side, they can force things, but they're weaker, so they do not want to do that.
We're getting ready to start again, it looks like. Here we go, resuming game, and right now, it looks like a pretty strong setup as far as most things go. We do have Kaisa playing back a little bit, not too much going on. Rek'Sai looks like he might be looking for something in the bush.
Lux just barely missing that E. By the time the minions get back to lane, that mana is going to be regenerated, so not much action going on here. Like I said, just a defensive start from both sides. We have a...
We might see the Alistair Kaisa go into the Vayne, and looks like they're holding back, but it is potentially something that they could do, especially if Vayne steps up a little too far. Right. We do see another pause here. We're already hitting 2 minutes worth of pause in the game.
Lots of issues with sound.
Yeah, and sound is key in communication in these vital games, especially this being the third game. You don't get a do-over after this game. And so if OSG or
DePaul University.
DePaul has anything slip up, it's game over for them.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see how this game plays out. I find it very interesting. The blue side opted to ward outside of their Raptors. So I was saying before this game that Rek'Sai is almost definitely going to want to start in the top side just because of the potential that he has for ganks there with Rise W, especially if we can get that empowered. But they still decided to ward those Raptors when I really don't think there's any universe where Rek'Sai is going to be invading. I guess they just want to play it safe. Potentially he could go something like red to bot scuttle and then path up or path into a gank. So we'll see if that ward gets any value during this game.
So we do see that Lux is disconnected. Maybe sound issues or maybe just connectivity issues. Something I'm interested to see is maybe a potential 1v1 against the Rise and Lux. I wonder which stun would last longer, and potentially of how much damage they could get, who could get the most damage off of their stun. But we also have a stun on Zoe, and she's got a little bit more range than Lux. Correct me if I'm wrong.
She has a bit less range than Lux as far as her hard CC goes, unless you're considering it going through walls. But early game, you're not going to see that happen too much, as Zoe's kit's not going to be unlocked with her ultimate to really follow up on many Qs, or rather many Es, many Sleepy Trouble bubbles through walls. So
yeah, we do have a really tanky bot this time. But OSG still has their Thresh.
Yep. We'll see if he can make any plays around the map this game. It'd be interesting to see if he makes any roams this game towards the top side, as I think that's really just going to be a catalyst for a lot of the action this game.
Yeah, I don't think that we'll see a lot of action here just early games because everybody's backing off, doing their own little thing, playing it safe. It does look like Thresh and Vayne stepping up.
Yeah, so let's just see how this plays out. Both mid laners just clearing the waves. Neither of them is trading too aggressively. Lux did get knee on Zoe, but it's not going to play into anything. So looks like Rek'Sai started with his red. He's going into his Raptors. So I think that she might be looking to make a play mid or potentially go towards top scuttle. spot scuttle. They have a lot of vision towards their bottom side, so I actually think that this Rek'Sai may be pathing down and then looking for some action in the bot lane. Alistar, he is tanky, but he doesn't have any escapes really in this early game outside of his flash, so they can definitely make things happen. Oh, it looks like Nunu's going to be spotted on that ward, and yup, Rek'Sai just pathing back up to the top side.
So we do see the ward there, obviously, but
Yep,
scuttle
spot
is
down.
important. Just make sure you get that extra health bust, the extra oomph. And we do see Nunu invading. Teams warning Nunu to get out, but just sitting there.
So I find it very interesting. Nunu, he just took that cone over. He had faith. He did not think that Rek'Sai was going to be there, and he was correct.
Yeah, we do see Rek'Sai doing a little bit of invading. Looks like he's just warding the place and might potentially gank Vlad up top.
Yeah, he's looking to get his level 3 off of this blue buff. And Vladimir's wave is slowly pushing into this rise, so he's actually in a very awkward spot. Let's see how this plays out. I think that Brown Man Darius is going to be able to definitely deny Vlad a lot of CS here because he just cannot extend. And Vladimir in the early game just doesn't have enough wave clear.
And here we go. Rek'Sai looks like he's coming along the long way. But Vlad is pushing really far, but they're about even on the map right now.
Yeah.
Rek'Sai hops
here it
in,
is,
Vlad
Rek'Sai.
comes with his pool, and it looks like Vlad's just going to step away with barely any damage taken. Rek'Sai did take a turret shot, though, but I mean, not much damage anywhere else.
And sadly for DePaul, luckily, or rather, well played from UIC, CC long there, Vladimir was able to push that wave in entirely. So once he gets that in, Ryze isn't just going to tank that.
So we do see a little
wave early in
action
the
happening here mid. Lux was able to get a stun and potentially a lot of damage off of that stun.
Yeah.
So Thresh goes with the hook. Alistar looks like he's going in.
Wow, well-timed play to stop the Alistar combo.
Yeah, that was really good.
Lux just keeps hitting this poke in. She's running Corrupting Pot. It looks like I'm guessing that she's ticking that second charge down.
So it looks like there's a little bit of action happening down bot. Thresh throwing his hook. We do see action hopping up tip. Nunu with his,
and I think Ryze is going to go down
Yeah,
here.
that's first blood right there. And the flash with the Ryze. Vlad is going to back off, and Ryze walks away.
Okay.
All he's got to do is back off, and it is still first blood up for
So both
grabs.
the jungle and the top side holding their flashes there. A lot of respect for the Ryze. A lot of respect for that tower damage. They know that even though they're not getting any kills here, getting that flash out of Ryze is going to pay dividends as he doesn't have any escapes. Even his ultimate isn't going to come for a while, and it's not super reliable as Nunu's going to be able to CC him out of that. So,
but that is going to burn both his summoner spells, his flash and his teleport. So we do have a little bit of action happening.
Wow,
Nunu coming in, and the Rek'Sai coming in, and looks like Nunu is going down for first blood.
Yeah.
And Zoe taking first kill. That's going to be potentially a lot of gold for mid. How does that look for later in the game?
So that lead onto Zoe is very critical. As I was saying earlier, if Redside can get a big lead in the early game, they're going to completely snowball because of Zoe and how strong she is, just how strong poke champions in general are, but specifically Zoe when she can just completely obliterate your health bar from a screen away.
Yeah.
When
and
she
we see a
has
little bit of
vision
action
control.
happening. Alistar hopping in with his stun and his knockup, but they're taking too much damage.
Oh,
Thresh
wow.
with his hook, and it looks like Kaisa might go down, but they're just going to back off, not turret dive.
So DePaul's ADC flashing forward, and let's see
see
how
Nunu
that plays
coming
out
back
for them.
in, and Nunu's gonna get that knockup on Thresh, and they're taking out their ADC. But Rek'Sai is right here, right place, right time, and we see the Thresh hopping in, and they're backing off. Both Kaisa and Alistar are very low in health. We see the flash on the Thresh, but not turning into much. They do take down Alistar. Thresh getting the kill. A lot of summoner spells have been burned here, and it looks like they're just going to back off from here. But we do see about a 600 gold lead on the red side versus the blue side, which could potentially lead to a very hard winning for UIC.
Yeah, so a lot of action here in this early game. Most of that, again, as I was saying, coming from these junglers. Nunu and Rek'Sai can both do a lot in the early game. Nunu, he can force a lot of ganks, as we saw earlier in the top lane, but he doesn't have the damage that you find from a Rek'Sai, to where if Nunu gets on top of you, you have a chance to get out like the Rise did, but once Rek'Sai is on top of you, you know that you are going down, or someone is going down, just because of all the damage that he can pump out so quickly.
So it looks like we might see another gank here happening. But
Yeah,
Alistair hopping in and in, but Vayne's
Well-timed
shoving him
from
back.
the
Yeah, there is a knockup from Nunu, and
she should be going down.
yeah, she's
here.
down. That is really good. It's 2v2 now, and it kind of about sums up the total of gold from both teams. It's pretty even right now.
Yeah,
we do see action hopping up top. Rise just getting a lot of damage off of the Vlad.
Yeah, a lot of very large trade, very big trade going down the top lane. However, Rise is getting low on mana, and Vladimir, as he's a manaless resources champion, he's just going to be able to heal back up, and pretty soon that trade just isn't going to make a difference
We
anymore.
might see a fight break out here over Dragon. It looks like Zoe and Rek'Sai are trying to do something, but not able to just because they don't have the power and the push. Thresh
I think
is stepping up, misses his hook.
Yeah, I think that DePaul just doesn't have any way to really stop that from going over to UIC. However, they backed off. They respect them, even though they did have a sizable advantage. Kaisa having a BF
So we
sword
see an ult on Lux. She throws out really nice amount of damage. She saves her ult. If she had Nunu there, she might have been able to get a kill.
Yeah, potentially.
So it looks like Dragon's just going to sit there for a little bit. Not much action happening on the board. I'm interested to see where Nunu's going to be going. She is going to look like she's going to run into Zoe, but Zoe just backs off.
Yeah.
So there was a big gold advantage to the OGC, but now that it's gone, do you think that's going to affect how much they try to stall up the game and go into a later mid game?
Yeah, so I don't think that DePaul wants to get into a hyper late game.
We see a lot of action happening down here on bot. Thresh goes his hook, but Alistair just knocks him into the turret. Turret taking a lot of damage on the Thresh. Thresh going down. That was a really out-timed play by Thresh. Thresh should not have thrown out that hook, especially with Alistair knocking him right into the turret.
Right, yeah, so that almost seemed like an okay play. Even if you don't get the kill, you can get some damage down, but I don't think that the Thresh really thought about the potential that Alistar had just to completely turn that away. He pulverized and then knocked him into the tower, headbutted him into the tower, and he just goes down. And I think that DePaul knows that they need to make things happen in this early game, and they're just getting a bit desperate. They are so far not playing.
Rek'Sai's going after the
well.
Alistair. Alistair getting caught out, but he just knocks them all away. Zoe hopping in with the fight. Alistair's out about half. Here comes Lux and the Nunu, and boom! That should be a double kill on the blue side. Rek'Sai going down. Thresh hopping in, but Thresh isn't able to get anything. Zoe should be going down here.
Yeah,
it's a 4v5. Or 4v1, my bad.
Wow, TP
Thresh,
coming out here.
Yeah, Thresh going down as well is what we should be seeing because
Vladimir, wow.
nothing is going to be able to be done, and that is going to be a 6v3 at 10 minutes with about a 2,000 gold lead, and Drags is now
that's gonna
uncontested.
Turn into an Ocean Drag. It's not the earliest of Ocean Drags. That would have felt a lot better about 4 or 5 minutes ago, but it's still going to be powerful. You know, the laning phase isn't over yet. We still have. It appears that there's only been one tower plate taken out, so that Ocean Drag is still definitely going to pay off. It's still going to help people in this laning phase. And even in the later stages of the game, both sides have a very powerful poke champion. You know, blue side, they have the Lux, and red side, they have Zoe. And having that sustain is very important for both teams. So getting this Ocean Drag, not only does it allow them to sustain against their opponent, to sustain against DePaul, but it takes that opportunity away from the other team. So I think this is definitely a game where the Ocean Drag is going to be paying off all throughout the game.
So right now, which lane do you think will have the most benefits from the Ocean Dragon?
The most benefits from the Ocean Dragon, I'd have to say the mid lane.
So we do see
for
Zoe
sure.
hopping in on Nunu. Lux coming in a little bit to help. Zoe backing off. So not much else.
Yeah, I'd have to say the mid lane and the top lane are definitely going to feel the effects of that Ocean Drag the most. Especially top lane, Vladimir. His sustain is already good enough just from his Q. But when you add that on top of an Ocean Drag, add that on top of the fact that he's manaless, this Rise is just going to be forced out of lane. He's just not going to be able to compete.
The Rek'Sai is top, and do you think Vlad knows he's there?
It
doesn't appear so.
Sure,
Rek'Sai hopping in, and Vlad just goes after his pool. No damage taken.
Right. Yeah, they really just can't force that play like they like to. Vlad, he has Phase Rush. He has potentially the use of Nimbus Cloak from his ultimate. He just has a lot of ways to get out of there, and his Flash still. So
we're
not
seeing
anything going to happen up
about a little less than 2,000 gold lead, leaning towards blue side. They do have the Ocean Drake, and they have 3 kills. But if they can keep this gold advantage, they can turn that 3,000 gold lead into a 6,000 gold lead pretty easily.
Yeah, so Vlad taking a lot of damage here. Oh, he just took 2 empowered Qs.
Oh, and it looks like, he's just going to pull
He's going
and
to
get
take
away.
his pull, but Nunu's coming in.
Yeah. Once
Vladimir,
Nunu comes in, that's Rise could be out of here. He
he's
just
gone.
ults away. But Lux is quickly on his tail, but he's just going to walk right out. Everybody's showing up a little bit too late to the party.
It's funny. Caster's Curse, I was just talking earlier in the game about how Rise doesn't have the best of escapes because he can get it. If he gets CC'd, he can't ultimate, but he saw that gank from a mile away, saw Nunu on the ward, and he was able to ult out
So
of there.
it looks like Zoe and Rise see that the Nunu is trying to invade their jungle. Zoe with the stun.
Yeah,
I think this could be a kill right here.
This
Rise,
is a bit ambitious from the Nunu.
Nunu is ulting and just going right down, leaving Zoe at half health and not much else. It was not worth the invade.
Yeah, that is tragic. That is not what you want to see if you're Vladimir. You know, giving the assist gold over to Rise. Now this Zoe's sitting 2-1-1, and yeah, their team still has the gold lead, but you really just don't want to give Zoe
hopping
any
in
gold
and
this
both
game.
flashing.
Wow, blowing the flash. This is going to be a kill.
Looks like she's going down, and this could be a turn of
this
events.
is a kill.
Yeah, no, looks like the OGC has come back with another kill from
and
Rise.
Brown Mandarius just getting a solo kill with his Rise.
That was really good. They could potentially Herald right now if they really wanted to. It would be hard, but they could do it.
Yeah, no TP from Vladimir. Both solo laners dead. Both solo laners off the map, so they could look for that. It doesn't look like they're doing it right this second because, although blue side solo laners are off the map, red solo laners are still weakened just from all the trading, all the skirmishing that's been going on. So looks like they're just going to reset and take advantage of that gold. In the mid lane, we have Merc Treads and Ludens, as well as a Corrupting Pot versus Merc Treads. No Merc Treads versus Ludens. Some free boots from Inspiration Tree, Dark Seal, Doran's Ring. So, yeah, still about even gold in the mid lane.
So it looks like they might be trying to set up for Drag.
Yeah.
Drag should be up here fairly shortly.
Yeah.
They are grabbing the scuttle.
Right.
Nunu and Alistar and Kaisa are bot. But Thresh sees them with the ward placed. They're just going to take that ward right out.
Yeah, so it looks like a dragon spawning. We can't see what that is unless we were to move over and look, but we are going to have to hold off and watch this trade in the top lane. So, yeah, Rise just hit a very large power spike right now. He has that completed Seraph's
but
Embrace.
he just backs right off. Rice,
yeah.
it's just, she stuns and gets away. So it looks like Alistar aimed with the knock-up on the... boom, that's down.
Yep,
Reaper has gone down. And it looks like they're going to go after the Zoe. Lux missing her ult, so that could be potentially the end of the fight. She's just going to walk right away. But they could push a lot on this drag.
Yep, more trading in the top lane.
It looks like Vlad could go down.
Yeah.
They are going after drag. Lux again missing her stun mid.
Yep. Oh, and Rise.
That's an uncontested drag.
We're missing the top lane, but Rise just looked for a play with the Realm Warp, trying to chase that Vladimir. Look, he's just proxying this wave. He knows that he is stronger right now. He has a Seraph's Embrace as well as a Ruby Crystal, and just the way that Seraph's Embrace power spike works for Rise, not only is he getting AP for his mana, but because of his passive, he's getting mana from his AP. It's a bit of recursion going on there, and that's just a very large spike for Vladimir. Even though Vlad has that CDR garage sale, he has the rune set up as well as the items to where he should be at around 41-42% CDR. That's just not enough to compete with a Rise that just completed Tear of the Goddess. But there is still a very large lead in the bot lane. There hasn't been much action going on over there. We've been focused on the solos, but
But yeah, Kaisa does have a very good CS lead against Vayne.
Yeah.
At about 20. Looks like Zoe hopping in, missing her ult. They're mid. But like I was saying, she's got about 20 CS, which could mean the difference between a smaller item.
Yeah. Kaisa's just very far ahead of this Vayne right now.
We do have a new bot. I don't think they had that OMG knows that he's there. Nunu hopping in.
Yeah, both
Alistair
junglers
with the
looking for
knockup.
things in the bot lane here.
But
TP coming in from the Rise. Let's see if this translates into
This is going to be a double kill going towards red side.
No,
red side with the oh my god.
Red side's going to die for that, but
that was not worth it.
That's very worth it. He got the shutdown from the Kaisa. Let's just see how the rest of the team can play that out.
I don't think it was worth it. Red side's going down. It's going to be too much gold towards blue side. And red side just, they could get an ace potentially here.
Wow, yep, Rise going down.
That is an ace. That was not worth it.
Vladimir with the triple kill.
There goes first turret.
Yeah, so Vladimir, he was just able to clean up. We didn't get to see exactly what happened, but I'm guessing he got a big ultimate and just completely burnt through their backline.
Yeah.
That's going to be an ace at 18 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, that was a good view on Rek'Sai's part, seeing that he could get that shutdown gold, but it did lead to his team's downfall in the fact that they just lost a huge team fight and first turret, and now there's about a 2,500 difference in gold. Yeah. Plus they have double ocean, so it is going to be a very hard comeback for the red side just to even make up that gold advantage.
Yeah, blue side just continuing to snowball their advantage. It looked like DePaul was starting to come back, but that play right there just completely swung things over. Now there's an approximately 3.3k gold lead on the blue side. And this Vladimir, he just completed his penetration boots. He has Seeker's Arm Guard, pen boots, as well as the Hextech Proto Belt. He's very powerful right now, and he really turned the tides of that team fight around.
So Rek'Sai hopping in there looked like a good choice at first because he could get that shutdown gold. However, if you were in the same position, do you think you would have done it knowing that you could kill your entire team?
Yeah, so their team, red side was going to get flanked either way. I think that was not entirely a desperation play. I think that was just the right decision. There's not much that Rek'Sai is going to be able to do in that team fight. He's more geared towards just picking off single targets, and that's what he did. He picked off the strongest member of the team. There wasn't much else for him to do.
Okay.
It's just unfortunate that their backline, well, unfortunate for DePaul. We're not picking sides here, but it's unfortunate for DePaul that their backline just got obliterated by that Vladimir. Well played from blue side. Well played.
I just want to say that the Herald went uncontested. I think they know that DePaul has no advantage here to contest the Herald.
Yeah, so this composition that I was saying from DePaul, when they get behind, they have a very hard way of getting back into the game. Yes, they have wave clear. Yes, they have.
It looks like we're going to see a little bit of play action happen. They might be forcing a team fight here top.
No, they're just going to give this tower right over. They know better. They know they're weaker right now.
Yeah, but so, it looks like Thresh with his hook.
They're not going to follow that up.
Harold's going to take out a considerable amount of damage to this turret. I don't think. Oh, we do see a little action happening here in the jungle. Vlad getting stunned so bad. Nunu coming in, trying to knock up the Rise. Alistair knocking up the Rise, taking him down. However, we see a lot of action happening here.
And Baron is up. If blue side can stay healthy enough and they can knock out enough members, this is going to turn straight into a Baron.
So it looks like the looks. Yep. Oh, that looks like a complete waste of time
Zoe's
and energy.
still alive. She's throwing some bubbles over.
So they could potentially get this turret and maybe even inhib turret. Do you think?
We'll see how this plays out. I personally believe that the Baron is just a lot more important than the top inhibitor.
They're going after Zoe. They could get an ace here. They have 5 seconds to get this ace. And it is an ace with Nunu getting the kill. That's going to be top turret, maybe even top inhibitor if they can push it out really fast.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I think that they could have just went for the Baron. Wow. Oh,
so Rise
with the Realm War.
But how it's just going to be a complete waste. It's just
they're just so behind. They're just so behind.
There's no way they can stop.
Flash
this
forward.
Could be a potential inhibitor and maybe even a Nexus turret. Thresh with the hook, but he's just going to get 1 kill over there's 9 kills right there.
Let's see what this turns into.
Twice. This could be
and Kaisa
Nexus
is still
Tire.
alive. Kaisa's still alive. Their jungler is still alive. They have the DPS for Baron, but they're not looking for it. Kaisa's going to do the third Ocean Drake. Wow. 3 Ocean Drakes against a Zoe that's already behind. It's like there's no way for Red Side to come back.
So obviously there
Very
is
unfortunate for DePaul.
a really good dragon lead, or not dragon lead, gold lead at almost 10,000, a little short.
Yeah.
Which is meaning the end of the game here.
Yeah,
I don't
we'll
see
see what
a
they do
way
with
for
that lead.
DePaul to come back.
Yeah, the only thing that could have made this worse for DePaul, I think, is if they lost their bottom inhibitor. Because of that pressure that the bottom inhibitor gives your team, when you lose bottom inhibitor, that means that you always have to send someone to that bot lane, probably the Rise, who is sadly the strongest member, one of the strongest members of your team, but you have to tend to that bot lane inhibitor so that your Nexus turrets don't fall. And when you have someone bot lane, that's someone completely on the opposite side of the map of the Baron. So they have a bit of a saving grace, and that's a top inhibitor. Pushing out this top wave obviously isn't that big of an issue.
It looks like they might be trying to set up for Baron, or maybe even a fight before Baron.
Yeah, they're just getting vision control here, and Vladimir's pushing in the bot lane.
But he's just going to come to, looks like he's going to come to Baron because he knows that a potential fight could break out. They got a couple ward clearing. Nobody really engaging yet. They're all shifting over to the mid lane. Vlad's staying bot.
Vladimir is very powerful right now. He has that double penetration, 40% CDR. He has the Proto Belt and the Zanyas. He can just completely carry these team fights. Props to
so they're starting the Baron. It doesn't look like the red side has vision, although Thresh just placed a ward.
Yeah,
I think it's going to go uncontested, though, because they can't hold on to both mid and Baron.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. There's really no sieging going mid, but the top Supremes are pushing in, and Vladimir, someone has to answer him, who is the Rise right now, and yep, they're just handing this Baron over. They just can't do anything about it. They're so behind. Zoe looks amazing when she's ahead because of the things that she can do when she has vision control, but from behind, there's just not much for her, especially against triple Ocean Drake. You have to delete somebody in order for you to be relevant, and she can't do that.
I think we're seeing the final end-game moments of this season right here. I think we have less than 2, maybe 3 minutes left, but if they can get 2 or 3 kills right off the bat, this is the end of the season right here for DePaul, which means they will get second place in this series.
Yeah, so the red side DePaul, they don't have very much disengage, so if at any point Nunu decides to snowball in, Alistar decides to WQ, get his combo, as well as Vladimir ulting, I don't think that there's a way for DePaul to get them off of them, for DePaul to really save face here.
So it looks like DePaul is trying just to make something happen, trying to get somebody to engage so they can just hop right on them. But no, they're not falling for it. They're just going to go for all 3 inhib towers and get all 3 inhib and maybe just push it out and get a couple kills and end the game.
Yeah.
Lux with her ult, not really doing a kill, but she does a lot of damage on the Thresh. Yeah, Thresh is going to go down right here. Rek'Sai hopping in, but he's going down.
Using the backline, just zoning out their carries.
Yeah.
Vayne just
that's
can't
game
do
right
damage.
there. That is
the ball game.
This has been one of the best games I have seen today, and we see the turret fall. Looks like Zoe might go down here from the Lux.
Yeah.
And that is game. It has been an honor to cast for you guys. This is Danny signing off for the last time today.
Yep, very, very good game. Red side had to get ahead. They tried to, but they just couldn't, and Blue took it away. Very impressive draft from UIC. Congratulations to them. They are the GGLeagues Diamond Champions.
Yep, and you guys all have a great day.